Hello, everyone. I'm sure you've heard of the protest that has been reported to be ongoing in Minna, the Niger state capital. It was reported that a lot of roads had been blocked and protest was going on. Minna is not the only place that we've also heard reports of protests. There have been some pockets of towns where protests have come up. You might wonder what these protests are all about, or, as glaring as it should be, maybe you're not even wondering. You already know what these protests are all about. The protests are about the cost of living in Nigeria. It's very difficult for Nigerians to get food to eat. Imagine listening to a child telling you that even to eat is so difficult. And for me, it took me to a dark place where I used to be once upon a time as a vulnerable child in Nigeria, where eating was such a problem. Going to school in the morning, I had no breakfast, and coming back from school, I wasn't expecting lunch. And yet, that's how I survived in Nigeria. I used to blame adults, and today I have become one of those adults that is failing this child. Take a look at this child.
Nigeria is in real danger. We need a lot of aid. They're already destroying Nigeria. Nigeria is not like this before. We need a lot of aid. Things are too expensive. We don't know what to do. Sometimes I'm not going to eat in the morning afternoon. It's only when my dad comes back. All the work we do, sometimes we may not make more than 5,000. He's going to trek from his working place to home. We do not have any food at home. We don't have any food store. We are begging the government and I'm only struggling so that we can make it in Nigeria. Our school, if rainfall, some of them are going to swim and come out from the school because we don't have any place to follow. That's the only gate we have. And we have to school. All of our stuff full of water, except most of the time that rainfall. We don't have anywhere to pass except inside. Nigeria needs a lot of change. A lot of change. Actually, there is a rough road. People are just stealing. There's nothing we can do. Except some of them that will lock the door because of they don't want anything to happen to them. We are risky. That place is very risky. We need help. We need help. We need help in Nigeria. They should help us. We need a young person that's going to come, that's going to rule Nigeria very well. A person that has passed through a lot. That know how everything about Nigeria. We need a change in Nigeria. We need change. We need a help. I'm coming from my 12 to this place because sometimes I will trek because we don't have money.
Those of us that used to complain once upon a time about how difficult Nigeria was, and the fact that our parents didn't give us the kind of Nigeria that they got. They told us of wonderful, beautiful stories about Nigeria, but when it got to our turn, they didn't give that to us. Right? Now, we have also failed our children. We've not been able to keep for our children even the Nigeria that we got from our parents. Today, Nigeria has worsened beyond anything that it is. And I think as parents, we really should feel that. But anyway, let's go back to that story of the protest in Minna. Sadly, for a country that is so religious, we don't seem to have empathy. Killings, abduction, killings did not get people on the streets. You know why? Because not everybody is affected. And for you to come out, mostly it has to be for empathy. You might not be directly affected, but you come out. That's why you see a lot of Nigerians who don't understand when they see people standing and speaking, when they see people on the streets making demand, they think that somehow they must have been paid for it because they don't have the empathy. But you see something like cost of living. Cost of living affects everyone, and it is all about survival. So people would understand that they are either on that street or they'll continue to suffer wherever they are. Just take a look at this. 2022 election was actually a revolution that was never allowed to come to its conclusion. And today, in our hands, we have an impending revolution. The Aisha institutions of this world, the show already, the Dejiade and all of that, nobody is going to because they think that the main problem that they have is an Aisha Yusuf. No, Aisha Yusuf is the least of their problems. You know the main problem that we all have are those people on the streets who have seen no hope in Nigeria, who can't rationalize, who have not had the opportunity of the education that you and I have. When we talk about being voices, we always take to each other. We must remember that there are millions of others who have not had the opportunity of the education that we have. And so we must fight for them in mind. But when we do not do that and they go on the street and take everything into their own hands, guess what? We all are going to be victims because they don't know the difference between us that are not in government and those that have looted their monies or those that had made life very difficult for them. All they see is that we all are educated and we all are their problem. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Having a clean shed and having a smartphone will actually make you a target because they see you as part of the oppressors. They wouldn't know difference. You and I can know the difference now, but they don't know the difference. And that's the thing that we always talk about. And right now, every one of us is vulnerable. And the saddest part of it all is that the people who have actually put us in this condition, they have private jets. They're ready to jet out of the country. They have second passports. And at the drop of anything, they're just going to go off and leave us all alone. So, ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, our country is at a place that it's really difficult. We all are victims waiting to happen, even though some people don't see that. This is not the time to sit down defending government, especially an illegitimate one that hasn't done anything for the people. The people are suffering. There's so much suffering in the world, in the land. People are unable to eat. And that's what we must focus on. When people are unable to eat, guess what they will use as lunch? What they will use as food? Well, your guess is as good as mine. But I'm here to say to you and to everyone who cares to listen, Nigeria is at a brink. Nigeria as a country that we used to know, it's gone. And unfortunately for us today, information is accessible to everybody. And people can see that indeed people in other countries are doing better, even if they are not educated. And so, you and I, it's either we stand up for what is right or we all perish for what we know nothing about. There are millions of people who don't have the voice that you have. There are millions of people. It's not necessary that you must speak or you must stand or you must do something. Don't attack the people who are holding the people who are responsible for putting Nigeria in this condition accountable. Don't be unfortunate. Don't be the one that they use to shut down the voices of the people. There are some that their voices will never be shut down. There are others, unfortunately, who are not as strong, whose voices will be shut down just because you attack them. And then you become part of the problem that all of us are suffering. For those who think that prayers is the way out, I will say again what I always say. God will not do for us what He has given us the capacity for us to do for ourselves. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thank you, thank you, thank you.